Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
From one of the most iconic circuits in the world, welcome to Suzuka International Racing Course. Fresh off hosting the Formula One Japanese Grand Prix and now the battleground for round number 6 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. But tonight, the challenge is stripped back. There's no active aero, there are no boost modes, no super clipping, just drivers, machines, and 70 minutes on a circuit that demands absolute precision. I'm Greg Ginsburg along with Larry McLeod and with Jonathan Grabowski bringing you all the action that Apex Racing TV is known for. Suzuki, that's my motorcycle, by the way. Suzuka is relentless. The S's punish rhythm, Degner punishes hesitation, Spoon rewards patience, and 130R demands total commitment. This is a track where mistakes don't fade, they multiply. And as we'll explain tonight, this is where championships take shape, where rhythm meets pressure and where drivers who adapt the fastest will rise above the rest. 70 minutes at Suzuka, Larry.
Yep, Suzuka, which is near, what is it, Yamaha? Oh, no, that's right, it's Yokohama. One of those motorcycle names, something like
Yamaha.
That. Tires, motorcycles. Thanks. But yes, we are at Suzuka, the famous Grand Prix circuit where Formula One was just last weekend. And here we are with the World Challenge. What are we, round 6 of this thing already?
Round 6 of 8, yeah.
This is moving fast, and there's going to be a lot of speed here tonight. We got a lot of classes that are in contention. We've had a lot of different winners this season. I am so hyped for what is to come here tonight as we get into the final stretch of our season 15.
15 it is, Larry. All right, so we do have our drivers out on track. As I said in the opening, little change here tonight. Going to be 70 minutes to the checkered flag instead of 75. But that doesn't change the strategy here during Speed Lab qualifying, where we have our drivers out on course. We still give them, for some reason, 15 minutes, not 10, to set their fastest lap and 4 flying laps within those 15 minutes in order to do so. As we go on board and watch Jordan Butler from DNA Motorsports right now. And of course, we've got here in the World Challenge, the GTP race cars, and Jordan's in his Acura ARX-06. And then, of course, we've got the GT3 racers. We've got our GT3 Pro and GT3 AM drivers like Ethan Bass, who we're going to probably be talking to in just a few moments here from Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports in his Ford Mustang, as he is currently working his very first flying lap, Larry. And I think maybe qualifying got started a little late here this evening, so maybe we won't be ending early. Shucks. But we've got our pro drivers. They've got the red number boards like Ethan Bass, and then there's Aaron Sunday from OHND Racing, and like all of our AM drivers, he's got the green number boards on the sides of the car, the green windshield banner and end plates on the wings. The only thing he doesn't have is that $10 tip from his wife. Anyway, Larry, good night for racing here at Suzuka.
Maybe the OHND team is going to shake things up a little bit. It's been a lot of bad luck for them, so maybe this time they're going to keep it cool and calm in the chat and wait for the track to do its thing out there before disrupting any bad luck or all that. But it could be an interesting night tonight. Like I mentioned in the opening there, we've got a lot of hotly contested classes. We're hopefully going to talk to Ethan Bass. He's in one of those there in GT3 Pro, with Coxon and Brooks and Rutledge. It's just been the other Brooks as well. It's been tight all season long, and I think every point anybody can get here down the stretch, a race like this can be critical, and I think qualifying is critical. I've driven some laps here at Suzuka, and I tell you, I think you've driven in Japan and other racetracks. I have not driven for real, just the virtual one, but I can tell you this place is very difficult to pass. Qualifying is crucial. And right now, Ethan Bass, and the story has typically been on him that he qualifies down the order, he races his way to the front. He's on provisional pole right now. Lots of laps still to do, but Ethan Bass putting himself in a good position. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to him. This is the night that if you are able to put it on pole, this is the time to do it and to lock in those points here as we enter the home stretch.
Yeah, indeed, is Ethan Bass, I believe, sitting third in the Pro Championship right now, Larry. But things are very, very close at the front, but not any closer than in GTP. As we look at Bobby Let's right now, your provisional pole sitter.
The other Bobby.
In GTP. But Josh Chinsky, who came off a win at Jerez, his second win in a row. And in GTP right now, Larry, Chinsky's not our championship leader. He's second in the championship still to Bailey Petrowski. But the top 4 racers in GTP are separated by 11 points. So
that is
incredibly
extremely
close.
tight. But I will say I believe it's Bailey Petrowski is not in tonight. I do not see him on track. I do not see him at all in paddock or in his trailer getting ready. He appears to not be there. And of course, we know that Stephen Hudek is not here. Of course, he's at the real track.
He's at the real track at Suzuka for watching the Formula One race.
Racing. So he won't be here either. Huge night, though, then for the rest those who are trying to get points. So you mentioned Josh Chinsky being one of those. João de Gregorio, we've got him on the screen here. He's another one. These are drivers looking to capitalize on these opportunities to collect big points.
Yeah, and a matter of fact, Larry, I think one of the things that brought the rest of the GTP field together as we watch João de Gregorio, who's had 2 consecutive second place finishes here in GTP, is that Petrowski wasn't at Jerez. And so, he had a much larger lead, obviously, coming in. And so one of his drops was going to be that did not start at Jerez. Now he's got 2 in the books. And that essentially, I think, is going to take him out of the GTP championship battle.
That is absolutely huge. And obviously, we're all disappointed that he's not going to get here. But it is an opportunity for the others. I'm sure Stephen Hudek is thinking, hey, maybe I still have a chance, because we knew this was going to be his drop as well. knowing that this Bailey's not here, maybe in his way helps him a little bit. But I tell you, for Di Gregorio, Babaletskos, Chinsky, this is a massive opportunity night with Bailey no longer part of the championship and a first place up for grabs.
Yeah, and of course, we're watching right now Michael Klimovich, currently 5th fastest in qualifying, in Speed Lab qualifying in GT3 AM, comes into the night 7th in the championship, had a P4 2 weeks ago at Jerez, and had a P5 to start the season off as well. And he's only 1 point back from Noah Hogg at the moment. And frankly, Larry, with a good finish from Klimovich, he could jump a number of positions. But Neil Weston currently sitting in 5th in HTP for HTPK, only at 215 points. Josh Vidal just another 6 points up from there. So things are really, really close in GT3 AM as well.
Yeah, in the AM, though, it has been the story of Corey Sarcone pretty much all season long. And again, he's got the quickest time. Right now, he's 7th overall amongst all GT3s, the quickest of the AMs. Dan Carrito, who's been running 2nd in the points, is also 2nd of the AMs qualifying. He's 2 spots. He'll be right on the grid, right behind Corey, which could make the start of this race very interesting. It's a good sign for Corey Sarcone, who actually, for Dan Carrito now just 80 thousandths behind, and Sarcone now looks like he might even start the race next to Carrito if things were to stay as they are. Huge opportunity for Dan Carrito.
Yeah, absolutely, Larry. As again, things are so tight in that championship as well. Of course, Sarcone winning 4 out of 5 races so far this season. Absolutely amazing. All right, let's take a look here as now coming to the line, Josh Chinsky, as he crosses the line, goes to provisional pole in GTP on his final flying lap. And Larry, what a mark there, as he is almost 1/10 of a second faster than João Di Gregorio, who had crossed the line only about 20 seconds ahead of the SRT Esport drivers. We go back with Ethan Bass, currently working his final flying lap. Again, he is your provisional pole sitter here, and he currently has about 4/10 on the rest of the GT3 Pro field.
Yep.
I was going to say Mike Dam second. Michael Brooks now from the wrong stuff turns in a 158.49. That's not enough to leapfrog Bass. So at the moment, it looks like Brooks may be starting on the outside of the front row in GT3.
Well, not everybody's
Bass,
done yet. There's Mike Dam, though. He looks like he's going to call it
he
quits.
called off his last lap.
There's a few others that were out there that looks like maybe they've given up on their final lap as well. There's Carrito, but the one I want to talk about now is Sarcone in AM. It looks like, he's still in the AM lead, but he just jumped up to be on the third third row of the entire grid. He's the 5th fastest GT3. That puts several rows between himself and Dan Carrito. So while it on the timing tower there doesn't look like much, that half a second turns into about 6 cars between Corey Sarcone and Dan Carrito. Huge final qualifying lap for Corey Sarcone to do that and get up in there. As we now look at, let's see, I think Connor Nixon just dropped in a good lap there as well. He's up to 4th on the overall grid. He bumps Sarcone down to 6th. Things are starting to heat up here at the last laps coming in. There's Michael Klimovich. See what he can do here on his final attempt.
And as the Slow Bros racing machine comes across the line, he turns in a 2-minute, we'll call it a 2-minute flat, but it's so close. 2-minute.04, just 4/100ths of a second off of Chester Guidry. Guidry, though, in the pro class, and about 15/100ths of a second back from Keith Stein, who's going to start just in front, directly in front of Michael Klimovich when we go racing.
Yeah, it's going to be, you mentioned, talk about the points, how close they are down the order once you get past Sarcone and Carrito. So every spot these drivers can get down there is going to be critical. Vidal right now is sitting 3rd in the qualifying order of the AMs, but even he is still 3 spots back from Dan Carrito in the overall grid. So Sarcone, so quick, Carrito as well. They're putting themselves up there. But the battle looks like Vogler, who's we're watching here, or actually watching Klimovich, Vogler out there on his final lap.
James Vogler getting ready to complete his final, 4th and final flying lap looking to improve upon a 159.52, and he puts in a 159.12, Larry, and he now moves up to ninth in GT3, but only 2 pro cars between he and Corey Circone. He needed a lap like that. You know, and the problem for Vogler is he did not have a good outing at Jerez, and it really hurt him in the point standings here. So he may be able to make some of it up tonight if he can bring it to Circone.
Yeah, and I think that actually looks like, even what we're watching here with Michael Klimovich, he's already done his 4 laps. He's just getting in a couple of bonus laps in as he now pulls into the pits. No changes are going to happen to the order there. So it does look like Ethan Bass did it, put himself on provisional pole here, maybe on the official pole in all the GT3s. He'll be having a Michael Brooks alongside him. And then in the AMs, Corey Circone doing it again. 6th quickest overall in GT3s. He is the fastest of the AMs. And like you said, 3 spots ahead of that late charger, James Vogler, in the AM start race order. So should be an interesting race. Very difficult to pass here. It's a narrow strip of asphalt. Typically means on cold tires, it could be a little sketchy. This could be an interesting start.
It could be very interesting, Larry. Unfortunately, oh, hey, look, he just showed up.
He did.
We've got a minute left in qualifying. Let's bring in Ethan Bass from Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports, driver of the Ford Mustang, the number 219 Ford Mustang.
All right, Ethan. Hey, thanks for jumping in here. Quick little interview. How'd the qualifying go? Because it looked great on pole. Tell us a little bit about that lap.
I am very glad. I absolutely adore this racetrack. That's what I'll put it down to.
Yeah, it definitely helps if this is one of your favorites to be able to lay that lap down, because this place in my history is very difficult to pass. Is that the same as what you've seen?
You can set up overtakes, but they will be mostly mistake driven, or depending on the traffic is how it's going to be the passes. For once, I'll be happy if no overtaking happens.
That is definitely the strategy when you're on pole. But yeah, awesome job there. And as the season, now we're about 2/3 the way through, are you even looking at points? Or are you just trying to turn laps and grind away and see what you can do?
We're here to win. That's what we want. Technically first race as a new team, Logitech ODBM, given Logitech's coming on board as a main primary sponsor now. So look forward to
Congratulations.
Nice. That and all of our other sponsors, awesome. Revolution Race Gear, Sam Blacklock Media for awesome paints, Hybrid Racing Simulations, CRC, and iLiveries for the amazing paint jobs.
Yeah, that's awesome. New sponsor on board is always a great thing. We all appreciate that, and I'm sure you guys do too there with the team. So any other comments here before you head to grid?
Well, thanks for all the broadcast and organisation. Hopefully this will be a good show. Thanks, and I'll catch you after the event, hopefully.
Let's hope so. Good luck to you, Ethan, and maybe we'll talk to you in about 70 minutes.
All right, there you go. That was Ethan Bass from Logitech G Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports. Congratulations to him on his new partnership, Larry. As our drivers head to the grid, let's take a look at the Speed Lab qualifying results here at Suzuka. And we have starting on pole in GTP from SRT Esport, Josh Chinsky. Starting alongside him will be Rosso Esports, João de Gregorio. Then we've got the pair from DNA Motorsports making up row number 2. It's Tanner Dibble alongside Ben Rose, who starts 4th. Baba Let's Go's, pardon me, will start 5th in the 818 Cadillac, with Jordan Butler from DNA starting 6th in his Acura. Then we got Jake Vasconcelos from SRT Esport. He's going to be driving the number 10 Porsche, starting in 7th position. Bobby Childs, and somebody put in the chat that Bobby wasn't running tonight, so I don't know what the story is there, but he is scheduled to start 8th in the D2D Sim Racing Cadillac, right alongside teammate Aaron Beaver. Actually, Aaron would start on row number 5 in the number 97 D2D Sim Racing Cadillac.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not seeing either Aaron or Bobby in the sim at the moment.
They just checked out. Yep.
That's unfortunate for both of them. They will be sorely missed. I mean, who's Stubby going to cheer for now? But I'm sure he'll find somebody. Let's jump to our GT3s. On the pole, we just briefly talked to him from Logitech GODBM. It's Ethan Bass. Alongside of him is going to be the fastest of our wrong stuff drivers, Michael Brooks, on the outside of row 1. On row 2, it's going to be Mike Dam on the inside from Orion Race Teams. He'll be lined up with the other Logitech GODBM driver, Connor Nixon. Row 3, it's going to be Orion Race Team's Taj Edwards on the inside, Corey Ciccone, the fastest AM driver on the outside, SRT Esport. Behind them, Jeff Brooks for the wrong stuff, and teammate Joey Rutledge. Next row, James Vogler, the second of our AM drivers. He'll be lined up alongside Chase West from the wrong stuff. Then you've got Brian Bennett and another AM driver, Dan Carrito, the third of those. Ilya Speaker from Rockefeller Racing and Charlie Hosea, his teammate. Behind them, Josh Vidal, HSR Phantom Racing. And he'll be lined up with...
All right, well,
there he is, David Fernandez.
I was going to say David Fernandez from Sector 5 racing in his Porsche. Larry, then we got Keith Stein and Chester Guidry. But tell you what, as the pace car is going to be pulling on to the pit lane here momentarily, and we've got our GTP racers coming through the Casio Triangle towards the front straight for their start. We'll turn things over to our starter provided by the SCCA Foundation. And as they now come into the start zone, waiting to hear the command to start from that starter, they slow down the pace just a little bit as the starter looks over the field and green flag is in the air. And we are racing here at the Suzuka circuit with our GTP racers making their way down to the first corner. The GT3 cars not that much further behind as Josh Shinsky jumps to the lead ahead of João de Gregorio, Tanner Dibble, Ben Rose directly behind, as our GT3 racers now get the command and they are underway. It's Ethan Bass with the Aston Martin of Michael Brooks from the wrong stuff right alongside. They slide across the nose of Mike Dam's Orion Race Team Ferrari with Connor Nixon, Taj Edwards, Corey Ciccone right in there. And what a start from James Vogler, Larry, as he gets around both Jeff Brooks and Joey Rutledge, and he is directly behind our GT3 AM leader, championship leader, Corey Ciccone, as they come through the S's over 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, well done there for Vogler to get past the wrong stuff. Teammates there of Rutledge and Brooks. We'll see how he can stay to the back of Corey Ciccone here in this opening lap. This is where tires need to get heated up. I had seen there initially on the opening corner that Connor Nixon, of course, teammate Ethan Bass, had run a little wide in turn 1. Didn't really go too wide. He was able to hold his position and keep that going. But we do have is Noah Hogg, a little separated from the pack here as he goes through.
And I'm wondering if he started off on the pit lane. That is Mike Dam that has gone around tonight, Larry, right about, and I believe that was over in the, was that over in the Degners?
That's the hairpin. That's the hairpin.
Oh, yeah, down at the Spoon, yeah.
Yeah, so let's catch a couple of replays here. This one is going to be a 8 on Dorsey. We'll get this one queued up as he goes into the hairpin. Here we go. This should be the replay of Mike Dam. Just on the outside, gets a little bit of help, but I think it's Connor Nixon in that Mercedes on his inside.
That was Connor Nixon, indeed.
Doors. Yeah. So
we'll see
what happens here.
Nixon now up to third, whether or not that holds. Also, Larry, we're getting word of at least one driver assigned a penalty on the start with a drive-through for jumping out of line early.
Yeah, it was a big one. That's João de Gregorio, who started on the front row in the GTPs, given that black flag. That's unfortunate. I didn't see it on the opening, but maybe the steward saw what I wasn't looking for. So that's a big one, though, as he was right up there alongside Josh Shinsky for the leaders. We've got another spin by Mike Dam in the background twice, and he just calls the tow vehicle.
He's there. I think Neil Weston, Aaron Sunday also involved.
Aaron Sunday. Not the OHND
Remember,
again.
we got Rachel's money first, so we're good, Larry.
She literally just did this like a minute ago in the chat. And Rachel, we're so sorry. Let's get the replays. They come out of the chicane, and it looks like the BMW starts to just lose it a little bit and just takes some victims with them. And I'll tell you, Mike Dam, you got to go back to the orange wheels, buddy. I think the blue ones are bad luck.
Yeah.
So the stewards are looking at incident involving the 8, the 2, and the 93. Well, we know that the 93 is Mike Dam. 8 is Ilya Speaker. And the 2, I believe it's Connor Nixon. That goes back to the first incident that's now
Right.
under review. So we'll see what they say there. And I'm sure they're going to take a look at this one on this other spin that involves Sunday, Mike Dam and Neil Weston. But I think that was Weston just losing control, and Weston and Sunday both in the pits. And I'm sure Mike Dam will be in there soon.
As we go back to the lead here in GTP, completing lap number 2, Josh Chinsky with João de Gregorio very close behind Tanner Dibble in third. João de Gregorio yet to take that drive-through penalty, of course. And Ben Rose now almost about 2 seconds back from his DNA Motorsports teammate, Tanner Dibble, as we go on board now with Rose. And Larry, that's not what you want to see, is a bunch of open track right here on lap number 3. He's starting to fall back.
Yeah, he started to fall back a little bit, but this place, these cars are very susceptible to the aero loss of the trailing car. So giving yourself about a 1 second buffer isn't the worst thing in the world. You can get better tire wear, better handling, but it does put you under the pressures of a Bobby Babaletskos that Ben Rose has right behind him. So he's got to watch that gap a little bit behind as the other Bobby closes in.
The other Bobby.
It says on his car, the other Bobby. There it is. Good shot.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
we don't speak ill of the other Bobby.
No, of course not. Well, this is the other Bobby. You talking about primary Bobby? Okay.
Yes.
Hopefully,
So
primary Bobby's
I'm so
watching.
confused, Larry. All right, Larry. The hammer has come down. Connor Nixon from Logitech G Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports has received a drive-through penalty for that earlier contact with Mike Dam.
And if I remember right, he had a penalty in one of our prior rounds as well, early in a race, maybe for some contact. So this is starting to be a trend. You can also say maybe he was helping his teammate a little bit. But speaking of his teammate, that is a Michael Brooks going down the inside of Ethan Bass. But the outside line gets a better dig, and Bass in that big old V8 Mustang roars away. But Michael Brooks certainly putting the pressure on from the Aston Martin to try and get up under there. That hairpin, though, the outside line's just a little bit stronger.
All right, as De Gregorio comes down the pit lane to serve his penalty. Yeah, Larry, I mean, you can talk about the big Mustang all you want, but that Aston Martin is almost as large.
It's wider, pretty, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty darn intimidating there. But obviously the Mustang, as you said, on the outside lane, they're able to get a much better dig as he was able to open up the front wheels.
What's intimidating about the Mustangs, having just run the 12-hour Sebring last week, and every time I passed one, I was the LMP. I wasn't passing anybody otherwise, was the sound. Those Mustangs are so noisy. But look at this. The Mustang is going to try and get the dig here, but Michael Brooks has the inside coming out of the chicane down the front straight. Can the Mustang out-drag it all the way down the hill? It's got the legs. But what about the teammate now? Looks like Connor Nixon is not going to serve the black flag. Maybe he's going to try and mix this up and help his teammate. Ethan Bass is the Logitech G ODB, whatever their team is now. Logitech, of course. Look at the important part in there.
Orbit Drop Bear Motorsports. ODBM, something like that. Yes, that's it.
I was hoping it was ODB, as I said earlier. But now we have a new leader. It's Michael Brooks from the wrong stuff ahead of Logitech G ODBM. Both the teammates, Bass and Nixon. Nixon still pending to serve that penalty.
And sitting just a little bit further behind, Taj Edwards in the number 42, Orion Ferrari. And Corey Sircone has now managed to open up the slightest of gaps, about 10 car lengths over James Vogler's Porsche. So he's going to be looking to open that up. And Vogler, he's got the pro drivers, Jeff Brooks, Brian Bennett, Joey Rutledge, and Chase West.
There's contact for the lead. That's Bass. And that was Michael Brooks.
Oh, my.
That leaves Connor Nixon temporarily out in front, but he's got to serve a penalty. This puts Taj Edwards at the virtual lead with, and I think Michael Brooks came back on track.
And Sircone.
Oh, the stewards are going to take a look at this. Let's us take our look. There's Bass on the trailing side behind Brooks. The same move we saw go the other way a bit ago. And I tell you what, Michael Brooks not leaving much room. And I tell you, he probably should have backed out. That's going to be a tough steward's call there. Bass takes the spin. Brooks gets away. Oof. That's going to be a tough one.
All right, so for the moment, Connor Nixon is your leader in GT3 Pro. And again, we believe that he's going to have to come down and serve a drive-through penalty within the next few laps. That should move Taj Edwards to the lead. And there you go, Nixon coming down the pit lane. So Taj Edwards, your new leader. The wrong stuff's Michael Brooks second, Corey Sircone third. He's your AM leader with James Vogler right behind. And Larry, with the Mustang and the Aston Martin going off, I think Vogler ended up kind of checking up a little bit. That gap between he and Sircone has increased over the last lap by almost another second.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to check up a little bit. Look at this, as there's now really aggression again by Brooks at the front. Now it's to the back of Taj Edwards in that Ferrari. Michael Brooks really pushing it. I got to imagine there's going to be a stewards review of the Brooks and Bass incident that we saw one lap ago. Brooks might want to watch things a little bit.
Yeah.
As Corey Sircone is the third in this threesome now, up here at the front. That's your AM leader fighting for the overall race lead with an Orion driver and, of course, the wrong stuff driver, the SRT Esport of Sircone, right in the mix.
All right, let's look, if we can, a little bit further back. I wanted to go back to Chase West, who's currently running 6th in pro in his McLaren, being chased down by our third place runner in AM, Dan Carrillo, in his WBM Racing Ford Mustang. Then Ilya Speaker and then Josh Vidal from HSR Phantom Racing in his McLaren. One back from there as things are starting to tighten up in that portion of the field as well. And right behind Vidal, Charlie Hosea from Rockefeller Racing in his Mercedes. Looks like he's getting a pretty good draft here as they come up to 130R.
Yeah, you catch a little bit because the speeds are relatively high, but they all have different speeds then through the 130R and, of course, through the final chicane here as well. Those mid-engine McLarens seem to plant pretty well coming out of there.
Yeah.
And that just opens up a little bit of the Mercedes. But the Mercedes has got good legs, and this is a downhill straightaway. We'll see if there's any opportunity for some passing going into one. Speaking of McLarens, Brian Bennett now up to 4th in the pro category, 6th overall.
And Joey Rutledge behind it. What a run Rutledge had a couple weeks ago at Jerez in the 444 Ferrari.
Yeah.
And he's right there once again. He was kind of the Larry, I guess, somewhat of the spoiler at Jerez, if I remember correctly. But we'll see here as still you've got Michael Brooks challenging Taj Edwards in the Orion Ferrari.
Yeah, this will be interesting because we already saw Michael Brooks getting aggressive, holding and defending the position once he was able to get it away from Ethan Bass. We saw him make a pass for the lead, which we talked about leading this, how difficult that is to do. But Brooks now has to do it on a different car, different driver, different style to do this on a mid-engine Ferrari versus the big front-engine Mustang. They're going to enter corners a little bit differently. So now Brooks has to figure out where's this opportunity, where's the advantage now lie against a Ferrari.
All right, let's jump over to Chinsky, our leader in GTP in the number 18 SRT Esport Porsche, as he is starting to make his way through our GT3 field. And he has now opened up a little bit less than 2 seconds on Dibble. Remember, Dibble, Tanner Dibble from DNA Motorsports escalated into second when João de Gregorio went to serve his drive-through penalty.
Yeah, as they make their way through traffic for the first time, this always makes things interesting. As they have to go through some of the corners, some of the S's makes it really tough to get around. ATT3.
And somebody who did not do a great job with some of those S's, that was Taj Edwards, who chucked it off track and falls off the lead into 3rd position. Let's take a look here.
Going down the front straightaway. Again, Brooks in 2nd, Edwards in 1st. They go down into turn 1, and it looks like
was
Edwards
there contact, Larry?
I don't know if there's contact or missed his braking point. We may have to get
let's go to the Jim Cunningham chopper, Larry, and take a look from overhead.
Well, looking at it from the chopper view. There we go. We're in the overhead view. Let's see if Brooks gets up into the back of Edwards as they go to the brakes into one. Or is this? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There's contact there. Brooks does tag Edwards. Edwards luckily saves it and is able to rejoin the trio. But boy, not before losing 2 positions there at the start.
And Larry, I don't know if it was intentional, but it looks like Michael Brooks may have let Taj Edwards back by, or Edwards may have just made it clean to move Edwards up to second. But Corey Sircone now is your leader as we're checking out here Ben Rose from DNA Motorsports, who had his challenges in the final chicane over at the Casio Triangle.
Yeah, he'll drop down the order there and give up a couple of positions. As it looks like now also Avon Dorsey having some issues. It looks like he may end up disconnecting.
Yeah, he now appears to be gone, Larry.
Wow, rough night here so far for attrition. All right, well, back to our front leaders. And they have inverted basically from where they were a few moments ago. Now, as you said, Corey Sircone, your AM leader, is now race leader in GT3. Behind them, of course, you've got Taj Edwards and Michael Brooks. You may be right. Michael Brooks may have gentlemanly said, hey, I punted you off. I need to give that spot back. Rather than take a penalty later, we'll see if the stewards have to do anything in that order.
Let's take a look here. And I think that might be how it played out. There's Brooks in the lead, and for him to just all of a sudden drop back the third, and that's exactly that's what it looks like. He just got out of it and let him by.
Smart move, yeah. Otherwise, you're running the risk of taking on the wrath of the stewards, and he'd rather fight for the living of the day. Look at this, though. They are side by side behind Sircone. There you go. Brooks and Edwards doing it again. Brooks able to get the spot back as they head around to the Degner curves. This is quite a battle between these two, and it's brought the rest of the field a little bit closer. As I think that's a James Vogler now, not too far back, leading the charge. He's got Jeff Brooks, Brian Bennett, Joey Rutledge on his tail, but it's James Vogler, the second of our AM drivers, 4th in this race, closing in on the top 3. Look at that.
Yeah, and he obviously brought more than just Vogler. He's got Jeff Brooks, Brian Bennett, Joey Rutledge right with them as well. And I think just one more, as narrow as this track is, Larry, just one more sequence of a couple of turns door to door between Brooks and Edwards, and it may bring a number of other drivers along.
And is this Josh Chinsky, the overall race leader, trying to work his way through this traffic? Should be blowing by on the right here. There he goes.
There he goes.
This will make things interesting.
Not much of a place for him to blow by, because he's going to now have to get in line behind all these GT3 racers as they go through 130R.
Yeah, which is going to break up just a little bit. It's going to let the front 3 have a moment of daylight here. And looks like Brooks, a little bit issues on the brakes going into the triangle, manages to get out of there, but not before Taj Edwards had to check up a little bit, allowing Sircone to open that lead. Look at that. Now look at the 2 SRT eSport drivers leading their respective classes here, with Sircone and Chinsky. Now Tanner Dibble just 1 second off the lead in GTP after Chinsky had to wait for those GT3 drivers. Dibble taking advantage, and he's now going to get caught behind, of course, Chinsky's teammates. I'm sure there's no team orders. I'm sure he's not telling Corey to just drive a wide McLaren at all.
That's all right. No, not at all. Just plant it right there.
We've got 55 more minutes of this. There's plenty of time here for Tanner Dibble to close up this lead. Absolutely crazy, crazy stuff. It's Jordan Butler, Ben Rose right behind him. They're now making their way through the same line of traffic with Rutledge, Bennett, Brooks, and the others. And
now look at the lineup here, Larry. Is Jordan Butler and back behind Jordan, Ben Rose, just caught up in an endless line of GT3 racers. As we said, you know, once Edwards and Michael Brooks went door to door, it brought looks to be somewhere along the lines of another 12 cars into what is essentially the battle for second.
Yeah, so it looked like a Miata race here with everybody just sort of lined up with these flying GTPs. The one place they've got a huge advantage, of course, will be on this back straight leading to the 130R. But all they can do is pass 2 or 3 cars because the train is just so long. Quick note from the stewards is they are looking at a couple of incidents. One of them is the Edwards and Brooks incident, no result yet. I'll be curious to see if they let it go.
Larry, big
That's
Bobby Bob, the other Bobby, having some challenges. Bobby Boboletsko's going off over at the Casio Triangle in the final chicane. And Jordan Butler now right on the rear. He's going to pop to the inside briefly. And gets back in line now as they come through the first S's into now the Dunlop curve.
Yeah, Boboletskos has to watch himself a little bit here. Can't make too many mistakes in a row. You can get away with one, but as soon as you start making two, you give up positions. And now with the two DNA Motorsport entries right behind him, it's going to be a challenge for Boboletskos. The advantage he has is that aero wash that affects those cars behind him. Those two Acuras just dealing with the dirty air behind the Cadillac of Boboletskos. Kind of see them running different setups too, because I'm starting to wonder if maybe a higher downforce on the DNA than perhaps Boboletskos is running there on his Cadillac.
Yeah, you see little wiggles from the back of the Cadillac coming out of some of the tighter corners.
But then when they get to the straightaways, let's see what happens. Of course, when they come out of Spoon Curve.
Oh no, Larry!
Oh, this is chaos. That's Taj Edwards, and that's race leader Josh Chinsky.
Chinsky as well.
No, that might be Vasconcelos. That might be teammate.
Yeah. You're right. That was the number 10 Porsche,
but that
not
was
the 18.
That was near race leader, or at least second place runner Taj Edwards. Let's see what happened as Edwards, Vasconcelos taking his GTP, ducks to the inside. Edwards had already lost some positions, but now he's going to lose a lot more.
Yeah.
Getting hit by Vasconcelos. I got to imagine the stewards are going to take a long look at this.
Yeah,
one.
Larry, I don't know what else Taj Edwards could have done there. He opened up the door, left it open for him, and Vasconcelos just continued to understeer out into the Ferrari.
Well, what that does then, if Edwards was having some issues even prior to that, because he had already fallen back from Sircone, Brooks, and right there with Vogler. Vogler now moves up to third place in this race, in addition to being second in AM. He's third overall. He still has Jeff Brooks, Brian Bennett, and Joey Rutledge behind him as they run 2, 3, 4 in GT3 Pro. So things are getting a little bit hectic here amongst the GT3s, but there you go. There's Vogler right behind him. You've got the wrong stuff of Jeff Brooks. Then you got Brian Bennett in that Sector 5 entry. Then you got Joey Rutledge and the other wrong stuff in this train.
With Michael Brooks and Corey Sircone almost 2.5 seconds up the road also as we watch this pair here. Now, the question is, how aggressive is Michael Brooks going to get at this point, and is having the overall win in GT3 that important?
Well, he would be smart to not. He'd be much smarter to let this go as long as Sircone's pace is good, because he does at least have a teammate back there with, of course, Ben Sidling, Jeff Brooks, right there with him if he needs the help, but he would much rather pull away from these guys, have the daylight, have the buffer when it gets to pit stop time, and maybe try and pass Sircone in the pit stops.
In the pits. I was just going to say to use Sircone maybe to pull him along, do a little extra fuel savings if possible.
Exactly. And because for points-wise, there's 0 difference in points to winning the overall for GT3 versus just winning your class and being second, now that the AMs and pros are scored entirely separately. And that's Jordan Butler having a bit of an issue. Let's catch the replay of Butler going into 130R. And into the triangle. Does he do the same thing we saw Ben Rose do before? Pretty much. Yeah, so Butler. Yeah. Slow exit there, but...
And Larry, there was another call that just came in from Race Control. And I believe this was for Ilya Speaker and Chase West. Dan Carrito. Dan Carrito, pardon me, and Chase West. That I think that Carrito is supposed to give a position back to Chase West. We'll see how soon that happens. And now I think it was just done.
Yep, I think I heard the steward say that's going ahead. Let's see what the replay shows, though. As it's Carrito looking like Senna on Prost, just touching the inside rear going into one. just enough to disrupt him. But yeah, the spot has been returned.
And a couple rounds early.
Yes, this is not the final round of the World Championship.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, either go see the movie or the videos or something. Do some research. Come on.
Yeah. Do your own research.
All right, there's Vidal now on the back of Carrito. This is the battle for third in AM. Of course, Sarkone and Vogler nearly checking out front. By the way, I believe Michael Brooks, did he get past Corey Sarkone for the overall lead?
Yes,
in GT3?
he did.
He did. Let's catch the replay on this. All right, coming up, grass on the entry to 130R. A little bit loose, I think, for the player. An opportunity, opportunity for Brooks. I think Sarkone just got himself a little, maybe some dirty tires there through that 130R. But again, from a point standpoint, nothing changes, but it does allow Michael Brooks to now run his pace if he thought that Sarkone was a little bit slower. Now for Brooks, he comes into tonight in the points lead. Maybe we want to throw the points up there for a minute?
Yeah, let's
for GT3 Pro, now that we've got...
make John work for this. Come on.
Hopefully settling down. There you go. As he comes in ahead of Coxon and Bass. So Michael Brooks now with the race lead and that coming in there, that 7-point advantage. Coxon, I don't think Coxon's in the race tonight.
No,
Bass,
Brian is not here tonight. And obviously with Ethan Bass, with his challenges tonight.
Yeah, he's 3 laps down. He's out of this thing tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And so Joey Rutledge, we talked about maybe playing the spoiler a couple of weeks ago at Jerez. He's running 4th in pro right now. He's standing to make out very well tonight and could likely pick up 2 positions in the championship.
I'll tell you, the other one might be Jeff Brooks, as he's obviously sitting in that 2nd spot in class running tonight. He could use to really a good finish here. His best finish so far in the season, a 2nd place at Aragon back in round 3. He would love to throw in another 2nd place with that and have a Brooks Brothers 1-2 here in pro, but long way to go to get there. But right now it's looking pretty good for the Wrong Stuff team. Running 1, 2, and 4 in class. There he is with a Brian Bennett's right on his heels as Vogler in the AM category has kind of pulled away a little bit. Got a couple extra car lengths now. Yeah, so Rutledge Jeff Brooks has to really watch Bennett now behind him.
Although also Vogler losing a little bit more ground to Sarkone ahead last time through. Actually, almost identical lap times on the previous lap. But you see there from our ticker, touch under 3 seconds separating our leaders in AM, Sarkone, and Vogler.
Yeah, Ferrari is looking pretty strong here tonight. Of course, 3 Ferraris in pro running in the top 7. That's a good sign if you're driving a Ferrari here. Of course,
Larry Connor Nixon and Charlie Hosea both coming down the pit lane. And looks like Hosea might have had a bit of an issue there. Stopped early before his pit boxes. They're taking their pit stops early here. Pit window for GT3 opened up right around laps, or should have opened up at around lap 16. And our GT3 leaders right now only working lap 14. So
apparently all the Mercedes decided to pit at the same time as all 3 in the pit stalls. We're there together.
That's right.
But we will see. Of course, we know that Connor Nixon had to serve the drive-through penalty earlier. That has him down the order a little bit. But let's check in with our race leader, Michael Brooks, who now has opened up about 2 seconds on Corey Sarkone for 2nd overall in the running. Michael in a pretty good groove at this point. Kind of thinking probably in his mind when he's going to make that pit stop. Maximize his opportunity here. I don't know if he's got a spotter working for him, perhaps. It'll tell him maybe where he'll come back in if there's any traffic to contend with.
Brian Bennett takes a quick look to the inside on Jeff Brooks.
That's a tight following position there for Bennett. any twitch out of that Ferrari, and Bennett's going to capitalize. Good strong exit by the Ferrari there.
I was just going to say, Jeff Brooks had a stupendous exit, pardon me, out of the chicane there.
And that translates all the way down the front straight into this decreasing radius, turn 1. And that's just given a little bit of breathing room now for Jeff Brooks ahead of Bennett. I love this whole S's section. There's a bit of a rhythm to it. They start to vary a little bit, and you can kind of have to lead the car. A little bit of elevation as it starts to climb to the highest point here as we go around Dunlop Curve.
It's everything the S's at the Circuit of the Americas is not, Larry. It's,
Codas aren't bad, but they're not the S's of Suzuka.
No.
Coda has the kill me curbs. Suzuka does not.
Yes.
They remind me of turtle shells in Mario Kart. Yeah, good lap going here for Jeff Brooks. Just you can see that daylight opening behind him. Oh, he gets a little bit wide. Let's see if he can get a good exit though here, coming out of Spoon. Look how much he's closed up on the back of Vogler now.
And just ask Abby Eaton about those curbs at Coda. Yeah, I hasten to say anything, Larry, as any drivers enter 130R now, because after I ruined a race for Noah Hogg seemingly early in the season, I don't want to do anything.
There's no such thing as a commentator's curse, I promise.
No, not at all. None.
Jeff Brooks, these guys running now high 159s. Michael Brooks out in front, 59.0 last time around.
Yeah.
Previous fastest lap of the race so far is a 58.90 basically. Oh, look at that. 8.86 actually was the time that Jeff Brooks laid down, but you can see how consistent low 59s. So much faster than everybody behind him. That's just the pace he's got. He may not even realize how quick he is. Maybe the opportunity to save some fuel and cut that pit stop down to the minimum.
All right, well, let's do this, Larry, because I think we're going to start seeing a lot of drivers start to take pit stops here in just a few moments. We're right at the top of the hour. Why don't we take our break? And when we come back, we'll take you all the way to the checkered flag here at, not Suzuki, at Suzuka, where you're watching the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge round number 6. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org. search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
Welcome back to Suzuka, where it's round number 6 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg, he's Larry, and Jonathan's back there somewhere. And Larry, we have some accounting to do, because I think a number of racers have, before they go in for their pit stops, so we didn't have anybody, I don't think, during our break take their pit stops. So we've had a couple drivers serve penalties. I think Jaude Gregorio just served his second drive-through of the night.
Yes. If DiGregorio actually may have been given a post-race penalty of 10 seconds.
Okay.
Incident involving he with Ethan Bass. So Ethan Bass's bad luck continues tonight. Also, it was Jake Vasconcelos who was actually given a drive-through, and I believe he served that in an incident involving himself and Taj Edwards, as the incident we had seen at the hairpin several laps back. So here's, I think, the incident now. There's Ethan Bass. I thought, unless this is self-induced, that might.
Yeah, I'm just running a little wide.
Well, there was definitely another one somewhere with a big bad GTP car. Meanwhile, some things don't change, and that would be Brian Bennett still the shadow of Jeff Brooks. We're going through the hairpin.
And this is one place we were talking before where Brooks looks really good going through the final chicane through the Casio Triangle. The Sector 5 Racing McLaren looks so strong going through the hairpin, Larry. There's just nothing that he can do with it, though, other than run up to the rear bumper of the Ferrari ahead.
Yeah, and that's where it's interesting watching the strengths and weaknesses of the different cars and different setups. Meanwhile, let's catch a replay here. I believe this is Jordan Butler,
who's had a very difficult evening tonight.
Yeah, is he behind Noah going into the Degners and decided that he didn't want to hit Noah?
Oh.
Stephen May avoids the spinning Butler, and Butler gets away without any contact, but that certainly disrupts his race flow. I tell you, these DNA cars tonight looking a little bit twitchy and rough. We've seen brake lockup from both. I believe we saw that from Ben Rose and from Tanner Dibble, or maybe from Jordan Butler, and now, of course, seeing Butler spinning there. And then you're seeing this, which is, of course, Babaletsko's. His cars just look loose as well. So just a little bit of struggles here in the GTP, and I'm wondering if this track, in all of its variation of corners, presents a setup challenge for these drivers that perhaps Chinsky may be the only one that seems to have mastered it tonight.
All right, so coming down the pit lane now is Ben Rose from DNA Motorsports in the 05 Acura, looking to take his pit stop. And we thought the window for the GTP racers would open up around lap 15 and maybe close up around lap 27. We're at lap 21 for our front-running GTP drivers at the moment. So Ben Rose poking his head in right around the middle of that window as we check in with David Fernandez from Sector 5 Racing.
We've seen his teammate, Brian Bennett, quite a bit tonight. We had not checked in with Fernandez, who's trying to chase down Keith Stein. And then it looks like Chester Guidry making his name heard a little bit here as he gets also underneath David Fernandez to take that spot. Fernandez and Guidry both in the pro class. The next one up would be Keith Stein, of course, currently running 6th in the AM category. See what Taj Edwards is doing after his various incidents and difficulties.
Yeah.
He's fallen down here. Looks like 7th in pro, but he's got himself in a bit of a scuffle now with Michael Klimovich, the 5th place runner in AM.
Yeah, 7th in pro and 12th among all the GT3 racers. And Edwards, he's lapping a little bit faster. He has, I think, over the last couple of laps than Klimovich. So we can see her as he's pulled up, but again, as we've seen here so far, making some of these passes very difficult.
If he takes an opportunity to pit very soon to make that pass a little bit easier. He's not going to do it on this lap, but we believe the window is wide open now as we're past the halfway point of this race.
Yeah.
Only 70 minutes tonight. As normally we run 75, we won't ask questions. We just know that it has been changed tonight.
Well, Larry, everything's smaller in Japan.
It's true. Whether it's the hotel rooms, the bathrooms,
the people,
or even the race length.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, I've seen sumo wrestlers. They are not small.
That is true. Well, not tall. Never mind.
Oh, look at this near contact now as Edwards through the S's appears to be a lot quicker than Klimovich. Klimovich holding track position though, and Edwards just looking for any opportunity in that Ferrari to get around the Porsche as they head through Degner 1 into Degner 2. And again, the Ferrari looks like he just wants to get up and go, and the Porsche of Klimovich not letting him.
Yeah, as they came out of the S's, the Ferrari, and it really looks as though Taj is trying to move the Porsche ahead of him around, try to get Klimovich off his line, and was fairly successful at that coming through turns 5 and 6. But as they came into the Degners again, the Porsche able to get back underway. But now you can see here, even coming in, Larry, right here coming through Spoon, where where the rear end of that Porsche just wanted to walk out on him.
If I'm Taj Edwards, I would be pulling into the pits as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Forget the original strategy. You're not fast enough in the places you need to be to make a pass. He may try something here. There's the try. And he does make it stick. So maybe he stays out a couple more laps now that he does make the pass. The longer, though, he were to stay behind, the more time he's losing. Now with this, I bet the next time they come out through the S's, Taj will probably have the advantage of like 3 to 4 car lights.
All right, let's jump a little further forward, Larry. In the battle, the top 4 drivers here, we've got Jeff Brooks still trying to find a way around our second place runner in AM, James Vogler, who's running now 3rd amongst all the GT3 racers. And of course, every move that Jeff Brooks makes, he's got to be conscious of Brian Bennett in the Sector 5 McLaren directly behind.
He does, and I'm hearing we may have a change on Taj Edwards. We just looked away from him for a second after he had made that pass. Let's watch the replay into the next corner as Klimovich goes on the inside, and there's contact between Klimovich. Edwards gets spun, unfortunately, the wrong way, and he does collide with the wall.
And he is now in the pits, Larry.
Yeah, one more look at it from above.
Let's take a look at it from above. And this is the second time that Edwards has gone down, and that was
it's a rough luck. And I suspect the stewards, they are looking at it, as I see already. This to me is an easy one. There should be a penalty given to Klimovich, unfortunately, and the Slowbro probably shouldn't be sticking his nose down there. But let's get to some good things. That is Josh Chinsky, over a race leader, now into the pits for his scheduled stop.
All right, so with almost a 20-second lead over Bob Oletzkos, it took a little bit of time there, but Bob Oletzkos now will move to the top of the timing pylon here in GTP.
So as loose as that car for Bob Oletzkos has looked, he's kept it on the track. He's doing what he needs to do. Now, at least for the time being, overall race lead for him. As Chinsky's going to
rejoin in second position. Such was the lead that he had here early on.
He may have put tires on, so let's see if he's a little bit conservative here as he comes out right behind Rutledge, running 6th overall, 4th in pro. And if I'm Josh Chinsky, I'd probably take it easy and use these S's to get some heat in those tires.
Yeah. He had such a healthy margin built up going in that there's no reason not to lay back just a little bit.
And he came out in front of Tanner Dibble, who has not even pit yet. So if you're Chinsky, you've got time in the bag, and even still here, let's be conservative. Stay behind Rutledge a couple of more corners. No sense in pushing too hard. However, Tanner Dibble has made his way into the fight here. Dibble knows the situation, I'm sure. Chinsky, and Dibble still trying to make the pass on Rutledge. Not too far up the road, actually. Should be Bennett and Brooks. There's just about a 4-second gap between Bennett and Rutledge.
Yeah, and there they are, Larry.
Oh, and who's the slow McLaren in this mix there?
Is that? Oh, I think that
Pan
may
Day,
be Chris
isn't it?
Hampton, the lead paw
Oh, it is. You're right.
McLaren. Yeah.
I was thinking here day, but no, it's the other lead paw, Hampton. It's a lot of
now
patience there.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
patience.
but look at this. He does make it by. The car still looks twitchy. He's still trying to build up heat in that fresh set of tires. He's going to drag Dibble all the way down the front straight with him. Dibble's got to get past the GT3 cars, and he does.
He does.
And Dibble now is actually going to take the pass as Chinsky's teammate, Corey Sircone, your AM leader, comes in for his scheduled stop.
And
this.
Dan Carrillo, who's running right behind him.
Yeah, did you see this, though?
Comes in as well.
Yeah, it looks like Dibble just gets around Chinsky, and Chinsky not happy about it. I think he may have felt that Dibble didn't leave him quite enough room. Now, again, though, if you're Chinsky, you got to stay ahead in the game. You've got a pit stop in the bag already. Yeah, he's probably thinking here that Dibble was going to back off. Dibble did not.
No.
And Chinsky ends up going wide. But again, if I'm Chinsky, I let Dibble go.
Just let him go. Exactly.
Yeah, he's got to make a pit stop. You're going to get that spot back. No sense in losing your race here. Let's see if Chinsky settles down and gets back into this groove. Yeah, he just needs heat back in those tires, and I think he'll be fine. These prototypes, cold tires, are at times very sketchy.
All right, so in AM, that moves James Vogler now up into the lead, second overall, and also getting word now of a drive-through penalty coming in, Larry, for another one of our drivers, Michael Klimovich from the Slow Bros, currently running 7th.
Yeah. We know which one that is. That's the incident, of course, with Taj Edwards.
Taj Edwards.
Taj is disconnected. He is done for the night. Klimovich will have to take his drive-through as well. We kind of knew that was coming. It's the Slow Bros. Kind of a quiet night in the chat here, I think, with OHND's night ending early. The Slow Bros having their issues. Yeah.
All right, Michael Brooks now on the pit lane, pitting in from the lead in GT3. That's going to move his Wrong Stuff teammate, Jeff Brooks, up to the lead with Brian Bennett there as well. James Vogler now pitting in.
Yep, Chase West, Josh Vidal, Ilya Speaker, all of them now. You can see the whole train of cars coming in.
Yeah, we should be right at the end of the pit window for the GT3 cars, Larry, which we thought was going to extend out to 23 laps.
Yeah, I see a Josh Vidal in there. Noah Hogg.
Busy Noah Hogg had come in early. Noah Hogg from Velocity already back out. So drivers yet to pit. Jeff Brooks, Brian Bennett, Joey Rutledge, Chester Guidry now up in the 4th in the HTPK BMW. Also looking a little bit further, Stephen May and Jeff Jacobs have just now come down the pit lane. And I think that will round out the GT3 racers yet to pit. Bobby Boboletsco's our only GTP racer yet to come down the pit lane.
Yeah, I suspect next time by it's going to be Jeff Brooks, Brian Bennett, Joey Rutledge, and Chester Guidry will all make their way into the pits, which will then hand the lead back to Michael Brooks, as Michael seems to be good there. But Jeff Brooks has pulled away a little bit from Brian Bennett, and Bennett's starting to fall a little further back towards Joey Rutledge, so things settling in a little bit. We'll see if that stays the same sort of gaps when they do make their pit stops, and I assume, again, this next time through as they head towards the Casio Triangle right now.
And we should see Boboletsco's coming from in GTP here soon enough. We thought the GTP window would extend out to the 27th lap, and he's working that 27th lap currently. And there you go.
Look at Tanner Dibble. We're waiting on his pit stop. Apparently he's fast with low fuel. He just turned fastest lap of the race, 47.6. That's a half a second faster than any lap that Bob Oletzko's, our current race leader, has done, and 0.3 faster than anything Josh Chinsky has done. As it looks like the remaining GT3s are now in, all of them.
All double stacking, Larry, for the wrong stuff.
So let's see. We don't think anybody saved any fuel because this is probably the end of their run on any kind of fuel they could have had. But look at this. Is Bennett's the first one to roll? Is he rolling the dice? Did he take on enough fuel? Because he's got track position over Jeff Brooks, Joy Rutledge. Huge move there for Brian Bennett.
That's right. And Jeff
and ahead
Brooks,
of Vogler.
Yes, exactly, Larry. Is Vogler now back behind Bennett as well? But Vogler, Larry, after his pit stop, ahead of Corey Sircone.
Wow. Huge shuffle here in the pit time. Vogler able to get about a 3-second advantage on Sircone, and that puts it in front. And then, of course, Bennett doesn't really change the order in the GT3s to be ahead of an AM category, but he does come out ahead of Jeff Brooks, and that moves now Brian Bennett to second overall in this race. But the question is, if he didn't take on enough fuel, I wonder then, does he need to save fuel in this last stint? We've seen this strategy before, and at a track like Suzuka, track position is crucial. This could be a well-payoff risk if Bennett can find a place to save just a little bit of fuel.
So, Larry, as I'm also looking at the pit lane times, James Vogler, who was about 2.5 seconds behind Corey Sircone before the pit cycles, was in his pit box for 3 seconds less than Corey Sircone. So we assume a lot less fuel there. It's going to be the exact same thing here in GT3 AM.
It could be. So we'll have to see if Vogler, and the interesting thing is that Vogler and Bennett are nose to tail, so maybe they both need to save fuel and they'll just do it together. We'll have to see how that plays out
so
here.
Sweet.
It is. But they probably each other doesn't realize that the other one is might be on the same sort of fuel strategy. But what this does mean, though, for Michael Brooks, he's got about a 5-second advantage on the field. He can more or less go to cruise control now with 20 minutes to go in this race. Just has to manage any traffic that he may encounter and just keep his nose clean. We are still waiting for Bobby Bubaletzkos, who maybe this is happening now, to take his pits.
I think it's getting pretty close.
There he
is
goes.
taking to the pit lane.
And Tanner Dibble should be in right behind him.
Whoa!
As one of the Rockefeller Racing entries was just parked at the pit entry. Let's see who that was. That Charlie Hosea, I believe.
Yeah, and it looks like he got the tote. Do you think he ran out of fuel before he got down the pit lane?
I wonder if Bubaletzkos basically had to encounter him twice, once at pit entry and the second time at his pit stall when he suddenly appeared. But if you run out of fuel here, it is a very, very steep downhill from the Cassia Triangle all the way down to turn 1. You should be able to coast to your pit stall.
All right, let's do this, Larry. As we watch Tanner Dibble now in the 303 machine, we brought up the point standings a little bit earlier for, who was it? Did we bring it up for GTP or
Pro?
For
GT3
Pro.
we did.
All right, why don't we bring it up for GT3 AM if we can? Because I wanted to show you where we stand here with Sircone, with Dan Carrillo and Vogler, and again Vogler, finished 6th in the very first round, which certainly didn't do him any favors, and then 15th 2 weeks ago at Jerez, so that would be his drop, as he is 26 points back from Sircone in the championship. Dan Carrillo, go ahead,
Take
Larry.
a look, though, as you look on screen, and there you go, Vogler and Sircone side by side in the triangle. Who can get the power down better? It looks like the mid-engine McLaren has that advantage, and Sircone is able to muscle his way past Vogler for the AM lead.
And Larry, that was in the span of 3 laps or so, making up almost 2.5 seconds on the Porsche.
Look at this, just outbreaks him. And Vogler, good, respectful side-by-side.
Yeah.
A couple inches between. Great move there for Sircone to take the lead back in AM.
Yeah, and of course, this isn't going to bode well for Vogler if indeed he is running on a lower fuel load. That could definitely make things difficult for him down the line. But as you saw there right now, Corey Ciccone, who has won 4 out of the 5 rounds. The only round he did not was round number 2, where he finished second. Has a pretty strong advantage there. But as you move back a little bit further, Michael Klimovich and Noah Hogg only separated by a single point. Neil Weston only 7 points up from that pair. So very close once you get past what has been dominant so far from Corey Ciccone.
Well, for Ciccone, his next car in front of him on track is Brian Bennett in a very similar McLaren. There you can see Bennett in that Sector 5 McLaren. We do suspect he may be on a fuel save strategy himself, but again, with the 2 AM cars behind him, he probably doesn't care.
Right.
He's more than willing to probably let Ciccone go by if Ciccone does catch him in the next couple of laps, which I kind of think he might as Ciccone looks faster on track. But the key for Bennett was coming out of there ahead of Brooks and Rutledge. And that he did. Is they're now a couple seconds back, and it kind of makes you wonder how slow a pit stop or what happened afterward to Jeff Brooks to put him that far down from Brian Bennett. And there you can see the 2 wrong stuff Ferraris back there of Jeff Brooks and Joey Rutledge running nose to tail, running 3rd and 4th in class. But remember, Jeff Brooks was ahead of Brian Bennett going into the pits, and it looked like he was comfortably there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder was
Joey
Bennett...
Rutledge was in his pit stall area for 4 seconds less than Jeff Brooks was.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if Brian Bennett was actually saving fuel going into the pit stops, maybe even could have gone another lap on the amount of fuel he had, but decided to pit with everybody to ensure that he made the pass. So because he was behind Jeff Brooks for a very, very long time,
right,
easily could have fuel saved there, and now might be seeing the benefit of it. For Joey Rutledge, if his pit stop was that much shorter, he may have the same issue going into the last 15 minutes here. This is a little slippy, a little slidey there, coming around the Degners and now towards the hairpin.
All right, so we've got just about 15 minutes remaining here from Suzuka.
This guy, I don't believe is pit yet.
So we show him as having pitted, Larry.
Yeah.
And he spent 21 plus seconds in the box.
All right. Yeah, my screen didn't show it, but he's matching and maybe giving up just a little bit of pace to Chinsky. Chinsky's back there 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But if the pit stops are done, as you say, and Chinsky now is on the charge, that's a heck of a recovery here for Tanner Dibble to be able to take that lead.
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere, and just like you, I didn't really recognize how he got there.
Well, we saw the pace out of Dibble when he was able to get past Babaletskos. We saw Dibble setting fastest lap of the race. There you can see the lap times running consistently in the 48s. That is fast. Chinsky has run a 47. He's done a bunch of 48s, but now it's a second and a half between them. Dibble may have tried the same strategies as we talked about, taking on a little less fuel. That might be why he's losing a little bit to Chinsky, but it's going to come down to track position. Dibble now with one GT3 between them, and that looks like James Vogler. That Chinsky's going to have to get past as it comes up to the Dunlop curve right here. And again, we got 13 minutes left. 13 minutes for Josh Chinsky to gain 1.5 seconds and then somehow make a pass.
His somebody's SRT teammate might have helped out just a little bit, Larry.
You know, let's just say some optimal positioning of a teammate to help a lapping car slow down a little bit. Sometimes can help the other lapping car. So now the gap is less than 1 second from Tanner Dibble to Josh Chinsky as they go around the spoon curve. heading down this long back straight through the 130R. Let's see how much time is gained. It's right now 1.03, Chinsky to Dibble. What does it look like when they get to the break-in zone of the Casio Triangle? A little quicker for Dibble through that Casio, or through the 130R. He gets a good solid exit of the triangle.
Yeah,
for Dibble.
Look at that.
But Chinsky does as well. So Chinsky, good launch, and watch that delta just drop. It's fascinating. Down under 9/10 down the front straightaway. Oh, it's going to be about traffic management. We already just saw how teammates in GT3s can help their teammates in the GTPs. What about the ones that are not affiliated? Like a couple of these wrong stuff cars just up ahead. Like I believe that might be Michael Brooks, GT3 leader, that now may have a hand in the lead of GTPs. And then one of our lead paw McLarens just ahead of them. Yep, look at just a little bunching up here. They're going to nearly go 3 wide. Michael Brooks backing out. Smart move.
Yeah, very smart move.
Oh, such a big car in that hairpin.
Yeah, Larry, there was so much understeer at the in Chinsky's car going into that corner.
Yeah,
car just did not want to bend in.
It's like a school bus. These things are so big. But now under 7/10 coming around Spoon. Remember, it was about 1 second the last time. There even
and when they came on to the front straight, it was 0.9.
Yeah, look at this. A little bit of draft. Let's see if Chinsky can still get good launch out of the Casio Triangle this time by, and maybe have a run into turn 1. He's got a run going again. He's getting better exits.
All right, as they come onto the straight, it's right around it. Almost no change in the delta there from before they came into the chicane, right at around 65 hundredths of a second.
I think they're going to have, it might be a Chris Hampton in front of them. One of the lead paw McLarens is going to be just at the end of these S's when they get there.
And Larry, looks like Joey Rutledge now has gotten around James Vogler, and maybe Vogler is looking to save some fuel here, as both of the wrong stuff drivers now have slotted themselves between Corey Sircone and James Vogler.
That would make sense, but Ilya Speaker is actually a part of that battle as well in GT3 Pro, now right behind Joey Rutledge, as Sircone is caught to the back of Bennett again, maybe proving our theory that Bennett may be a little bit light on fuel. But Bennett isn't going to put up a fight. These are different classes. He doesn't really care about Corey Sircone. If anything, it'll give someone a draft behind and maybe save some more fuel if he thinks he needs to.
Ensure that he gets the checkered flag. Yeah,
I totally would do that in this situation if I think I'm light on fuel. In a similar car with the same kind of strengths, he should be running nearly identical laps anyway. As there is
there you go. Ilya Speaker getting around Vogler as well.
And right up to the back of Joey Rutledge now. That is now for 4th place in GT3 Pro. Let's catch the replay.
Yeah, and you know, Larry, behind West, about 2. Oh, my.
This was the reason it all happened. Vogler.
Okay.
That's a fascinating spin. Doesn't touch anything and just keeps going.
All right. Well, that explains things. So it's not a fuel thing, Larry, but Vogler now, he's got Dan Carrillo only a couple seconds back at this point.
Yeah, that's probably why he's hustling to get past Bennett.
Yeah.
He would like to have a chance there. But meanwhile, let's take a look at the race lead as Dibble and Chinsky now just a couple of car lengths apart. We've got 8 minutes left, and they're running about 1:48 a lap, so we'd be, I don't know, about 7 laps to go in this thing. This is going to be very interesting down these last number of laps. Maybe not even 7, could be 5 laps to go in this. Chinsky doesn't have to pass him right away, but he will want to. He wants that 3rd win in a row if he can get it.
And Larry, we just got an update from our favorite spotter. Aaron Sunday back out on course right now in the 331 Mercedes. There he is. Running about 7 laps down at this point, but
that's a clean sheet
after
metal,
a lot of
some
repairs, good to see him get that back out.
Yeah,
she
again,
would not let Aaron quit. That's
just,
I think what we should take from this.
And he was a victim of just some bad luck again.
Yeah.
Some other car spinning in front of him and just taking him out, and that's kind of unfortunately been how Aaron's been taken out a few times. Doesn't ever appear to be a fault of his own. It's somebody else spinning that just gets in his way. We're wishing him continued luck, maybe next week, to try and get that clean race in.
That's right. And speaking of next week, Larry, the Touring Car Cup next week heads to Alton Park. Of course, the Touring Car Cup will be round number 2 for the TCR and GR86 Cup cars. And if you want to join the grid, we still have some openings. You can head over to xmsracing.com/TCC-shop.
Which version of Alton Park are we running?
We are running, I think we're running the no chicane version.
Ooh, the high speed near suicide flick of the wrist at the end of that back straight. Love that layout.
Yeah.
If you haven't run much Alton Park, it's a fascinating little local UK track, and it's a lot of fun, especially
it's like the
in
summit point of the UK.
Yeah, honestly, I think.
Or is it the Hallett of the UK?
Maybe it's kind of a hidden gem sort of legend there at Alton Park. So that'd be a fun one next week, and then in 2 weeks, not to give away the ending here, but we will be, I believe, at Long Beach.
So the concrete canyons of Long Beach.
Yeah.
Get to watch the GTP cars try to fight their way around the fountain or the hairpin, you name it. Lots of challenges for very long cars.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one coming up in 2 weeks. All right, so we have now less than 5 minutes to go in this one. Remember, 70, not 75 minutes tonight. Tanner Dibble still has the lead. Josh Chinsky hasn't found his opportunity yet. He's going to have to do something. Chinsky's definitely got a bit of a push on that car, but also the car looks stable, which can sometimes be a good thing. Less mistakes around here, but right now Dibble just has to do this maybe 3 more times.
Stable does not necessarily mean fast, Larry. And I think Dibble's showing this, but they're coming up on a lot of slower
this is going to help him. That's going to help him.
Oh, and that's there's contact there, Larry.
Yes, that was the Logitech GOD BM entry of Ethan Bass. I had to get it all out there. And that now may be the lead for the race as Dibble gets held up. Chinsky's right in his mirrors. Chinsky going to show patience and stay behind going in through 1, but he is right on his tail. Now, does that understeer help him as he can flick the car through these S's?
All right, Larry, and I think as they're coming up, I think this is Noah Hogg directly ahead. Yeah. But again, through these S's, this is where that push does not help Chinsky at all.
Sometimes you can be aggressive and you can use the hands and not worry about balance in the back end, especially if you have to go offline to get around a GT3 car. A predictable car helps. Look at the twitch in front of him, a little bit of recovery there from Chinsky. But look at Dibble. That car is all over the place going through Dunlop. You can see the stability there of Chinsky's car and advantage over Dibble's cars. Now, are we going to see a side-by-side through the hairpin as Chinsky gets a better run coming out of Degner?
Here we go as they come down into the hairpin. Chinsky tries to square up the exit, and you can see definitely, Larry, whereas Chinsky's got a lot of problems at the front of the car, Dibble's got problems at the back, the rear end there, just moving around. And, he takes a look to the inside.
He's going to push him to the inside. Dibble's going to now get stuck behind Aaron Sunday. Plenty of camera time now, Aaron. Rachel, are you watching? As Chinsky's going to get the better exit, I think, and get the run all the way up toward the 130R. We could be looking at a pass for the season as Chinsky's going to try the move. No, wait, not yet.
No, he backs out.
Oh, and he runs wide. All right, well, he does stay in it. 2 minutes to go, probably 2 laps.
2 more laps.
Yep, as they're running about 150 a lap. So 2 more laps. White flag next time by.
A little bit further back, Corey Sircone and Brian Bennett now battling it out for second overall in GT3. Bennett running second in Pro. Sircone, your leader in AM, and Sircone nose up for the moment.
Neither one of them needs this. They're in different classes. They can take each other out. They're trying. They're definitely trying. Sircone needs a better run here to take the position.
Vogler's screaming in his helmet, please, please, please.
Vogler's 11 seconds back. He definitely needs all the help he can get.
Yeah.
Sircone, though, he's going to get the win if he can just keep it clean. And Bennett's going to get his
And
best
here it
second
comes,
place
Larry,
class.
as they come down.
Oh, no, there's contact. Both of them
and they
spin.
both go around. And how far back is João de Gregorio? 20 seconds
He's
back.
closing soon. There goes Dibble. He's back underway. Chinsky gets out of there first. And Chinsky may have given up the spot, maybe thinking it was his fault. This will be interesting when we see the replay. But now we are a lap and a quarter away from the end of this thing.
Are we still a lap and a quarter away, Larry? Because with
be.
them going off there, we may not get that extra lap.
Yeah, let's back this up just a little bit and see what happens here. As they are side by side.
Oh, there
and
you go.
I tell you what.
I don't think that was Chinsky, Larry.
I'm not sure either, but that's a tough one. To be on the inside is where I'd want to be, but there's definitely some extra contact coming from the inside. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. They are gonna do another lap.
Yeah, they will get one more lap. So we've got 30 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, I don't believe we've seen a white flag at all. De Gregorio maybe watching the front two take each other out, and he could pounce on this thing. Remember, there's no Steven Hudak tonight. There is no Bailey Petrowski tonight. It is points up for the grabs. If somebody can win this thing, and here they go, white flag in the air.
Now it's in the air. 1 to go here at Suzuka. And they are once again side by side with Chinsky to the outside, Dibble to the inside through turns 1 and 2.
And he can't hold it. Chinsky's behind, but look at De Gregorio. He's pouncing. He's going to run up alongside Chinsky. He's going to back out. This, though, we think is where Dibble should be faster with the better, more neutral car. But when we get to the Dunlop here in 2 more turns, I think that's where Chinsky has the advantage. The car is stable. Dibble's is not. Let's see now as they go through. Lots of aero wash, though, behind Dibble. I'd rather be the lead car in this sort of pack.
I don't know. I think I'd rather be De Gregorio sitting back in third at this point.
He's needling him. He's certainly poking at him to try and make him make a mistake. He's forcing Chinsky to get up into the back. Now, Chinsky probably needs this the least because I believe he came in with the more points. I don't even know.
Larry, as we came in tonight, Chinsky running second in the championship.
Yeah.
We won't throw the points up now. He came in with 243, Hudak at 242, and De Gregorio at 241.
The other guys, Dibble and De Gregorio, need this more than Chinsky, so Chinsky should just be holding position. There's a move. He hits the back of Klimovich. Does Chinsky, and that's going to move him back to third and probably incur a penalty. This is not going to be over. Stewards are for sure going to look at that. As Dibble now leads De Gregorio by half a second. One more set of corners to go. They'll go 130R. They'll go around the Casio triangle. And Dibble, if he can do it successfully, can claim the win. De Gregorio not out of it yet, but I tell you, Chinsky, he's back there. And if he takes a 10-second post-race penalty for that, he may even lose another spot to Babaletskos the way that looked, because that was a pretty brutal hit. It's going to be Tanner Dibble getting the win here in Suzuka. De Gregorio going to come home
only
second.
a quarter of a second back, Larry, for De Gregorio, who may not know that the race is over from the looks of it.
And Chinsky maybe out of fuel.
I was going to say, it looked like he used every last gallon that he had to come across the line in third. And Larry, like I said, when we came into tonight, we'll check in on the GTP racers here in just a moment as our pro leader, Michael Brooks, comes up to the 130R. In GTP, Bailey Petrowski, who is not here tonight, came in with 252 points. Chinsky, 243. Hudak, who is not here tonight, but in the chat from Japan, 242. De Gregorio, 241. So, we're going to have some big changes going into round number 7.
Michael Brooks, a little bit of showboating here as he's going to take the win in GT3 Pro. Had the car sliding coming out of Casio, but he does get the win ahead of Brian Bennett, who's yet to finish. But your winner in GT3 AM is going to be Corey Sircone again.
5 out of 6 rounds here this year, or this season, Larry, for Corey Sircone from SRT Esport.
Overall,
and there you go. Brian Bennett will come home second in pro, third overall with the wrong stuff. Jeff Brooks taking the last podium position in pro. And now coming out of the final corners, finishing second in AM, it's going to be James Vogler, the privateer, with Dan Corrido in the Ford Mustang, the WBM racing machine, finishing in third.
Yeah, pretty close. He had closed in on Vogler there at the end.
Yeah.
Brooks almost made it past Bennett for second place in GT3 Pro.
He was there.
Unbelievable stuff. Yeah, Jeff Brooks.
53 thousandths of a second or so separating. That was
unbelievable.
insane.
Yeah, unbelievable night tonight. Tanner Dibble getting that exciting win over João Di Gregorio and Josh Chinsky. Michael Brooks put on a great display tonight. Had some incidents, had some contacts with a couple of different leaders, but in the end, he's going to walk away with that victory. And then, of course, Corey Ciccone, as you said, 5 out of 6. It's been quite a dominant season here for Corey. With 2 rounds to go, there's not a lot he can do to lose this thing here in the AM category. Great win for him tonight.
All right, Larry, let's take a quick break. We'll be back here in just a few moments. We'll talk to some of our race winners here from Suzuka, where you have seen round number 6 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge. Stay with us.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best-trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Hundreds of name brand parts. Expert support. Ricmotech has you covered. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Welcome back to Suzuka, where you've just seen round number 6 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech World Challenge, season number 15. Let's take a look, Larry, at the final order, at least how things ended up on track. Is we just had a revelation here when we look at GTP that could certainly make things even more more difficult for us to do the math on here, as we had Tanner Dibble from DNA Motorsports take the win on track in the number 303 Acura. João Di Gregorio from Rosso Esports finishing second. However, João Di Gregorio picking up that 10-second post-race penalty. And so that is going to make things very, very different. And Larry, if we do the math, I think that will just put him behind Josh Chinsky.
I think so, yeah.
So Chinsky, who finished third on track, now will end up with second place points, with João Di Gregorio dropping to third. Bobby Babaletsko's just off the podium in fourth. Over in GT3 Pro, the wrong stuff's Michael Brooks takes his Aston Martin to the win, with Brian Bennett in the Sector 5 Racing McLaren finishing second. Jeff Brooks in the wrong stuff Ferrari finishing in third. And over in GT3 AM, Corey Ciccone from SRT Esport takes the win. James Vogler will finish second. and Dan Carrido will finish in third. And now that that's the case, things are just about as clear as mud.
I can tell you one other thing is there was a review of the incident between Tanner Dibble and Josh Chinsky that we had seen that set up that fantastic finish with Jowdy Guerrero coming in. That's the incident that the stewards ruled no cause inconclusive. We do not yet have any incident review that we know of Klimovich and Chinsky. So we don't know if there's still a penalty to go there. What we are confident, though, is that Tanner Dibble is going to be given this win. He's going to earn it, and he got it here tonight, and I think he's waiting for an interview.
I was just going to say, well, Larry, why don't we do this? Because he is in the green room waiting for us. Let's bring in Tanner Dibble, driver of the number, well, I think it's now the number 305, but the DNA Motorsports Acura. He still has it listed as 963 when he raced a Porsche. All right, let's bring him on in.
All right, your overall winner tonight and one of the most fantastic finishes we have seen in a very long time, Tanner Dibble. Congrats on winning in that dogfight. Tell me a little bit about how those last couple laps went down.
Not without some controversy, huh?
A little bit.
It was, I think it was just hard racing. I look back at it, and I think neither of us wanted to give in there. Referring to the Degner incident there, it was nice of him to just let me back by and move on and continue racing. It's a shame to see we couldn't fight till the end, and then Gregorio got in there at the end. It was hectic.
He did, yeah. He was in there, and then Josh was trying to get the spot back in there, trying to get inside. And I think he then came into Spoon on the last lap, and Klimovich was in the middle of all of that as well. It just looked like a lot of chaos, but honestly, it was good racing between you guys for the last number of laps after the pit stops. We were just kind of waiting for Josh to try and make a move. Were you feeling the same way, just kind of waiting for him to get up there and try something?
Yeah, since I went for the undercut, I knew he'd had better tires towards the end, and I think the Porsche is a little bit better on tires. I mean, I think that car is just better in most aspects right now, so you really got to work for it in the Acura. So, yeah, I'm really happy to give the car some justice, even though my heart still lies in the Porsche. But my teammates and I wanted to drive this car this season, so we're just sticking with it.
Yeah, to be honest, we may have overlooked you a little bit, maybe because the undercut move, we didn't realize where you were. I was thinking maybe you still had a pit stop to go, and all of a sudden you're setting fastest laps of the race, and we realized, oh, wait a second, you've done your pit stop. This is it. This is how it's the finale, the battle is going to be waged right up to the end, and it was fun to watch. But you guys went with this car. Tell me a little bit about trying to make a setup for this. We saw especially your teammates struggling to keep this car. Maybe it's under braking, or maybe it looked a little twitchy at times. What's it like driving this here tonight?
This car is just a handful in every sense of the word. Like, it's really tough to keep the tires under control, and if you get it upset at all, it just punishes you for the rest of the race. So you really have to manage the tires. And then, as far as setup goes, like, there wasn't an IMSA race here, so there wasn't many to grab from. So we ended up going with a Silverstone setup, thanks to Mr. Rose for proposing that one today. Actually, I practiced on a different setup, so it was, it's tough, man. It's really tough.
Yeah, it looked like it just had a bit of struggle tonight, and maybe it's the way this track is. It's hard to find a good quality setup with this. I saw the same thing at Bobby Valesco's in his car. He again was struggling on setup, and then watching on board with Josh, his car looked like it had an understeer, but stable. Nobody seemed to really have that glorious setup tonight, so it just came down to maybe just drive what you got and see what happens.
Pretty much.
And tonight you did that very, very well. So I got to say congrats on that. Just an unbelievable win here. And big on points. We're going to get to that in a few minutes, but this seemed to be an opportunity for folks like yourself to earn some points. Did you see it the same way with having Steven not in the race tonight, Bailey not in the race tonight?
Yeah, I was surprised to see no Bailey, no Steven as well. This is usually a good track for me. I love Suzuka. It's one of my favorites. So I was hoping to get a good result here regardless. This season's been pretty tough, so I'm not expecting to try and come back for a late win, but I'm going to do my best to get myself as far up as I can for sure.
Well, it'll certainly be interesting because we think Bailey's not going to end up with enough events. So it certainly puts a bit of a wrench in the mix and opportunities for those because he had been dominant early on. But now you've got a win under your belt here. Big to do here to get in a position as we got 2 rounds to go. Awesome job tonight. I got to give you a chance here to shout out to teammates, sponsors, anybody else if you'd like to.
Yeah, just my teammates. Again, thanks, Mr. Rose, for the setup. Last minute change ended up working out. And then, yeah, Butler as well. We all worked as hard as we could to get the car in a place we were happy with. And then, yeah, me and Butler actually finished second for our friend at the Sebring 12 this weekend. So one of our fallen friends, that was one of his favorite races to go to in person. And he raced there in spec Miatas and all sorts of other things there as well. So we're really stoked to bring home a good result in the 12-hour this season and dedicate it to him. So shout out to him and his family. I hope you guys are well. And yeah, again, thanks to my team. I love these guys.
Well done tonight, and a great job there as well at Sebring for you. It's a tough track, and always good to do that for a friend. So congrats tonight, though. DNA Motorsports, Tanner Dibble getting the win here in GTP. Congrats.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
All right, thanks so much, Tanner Dibble. So, Larry, let's look at the point standings now in GTP, where, as we saw Bailey Petrowski taking a second DNS here in the season. He drops from first in the standings down to 7th. And Stephen Hudek, who was at the real Suzuka this weekend and watching the race here online tonight, falls from third in the championship to 8th in the championship. That is now going to move Josh Chinsky up into the lead with 303 points, 4 points clear of João de Gregorio, who jumps from 4th in the championship to 2nd. Tanner Dibble, who we just spoke to from DNA Motorsports, he was 5th coming into tonight's round. He is now 3rd in the championship, and he is 19 points back from João de Gregorio. Ben Rose 4th in the championship, and Bobby Babaletskos currently 5th in the championship in GTP. All right, let's bring in Larry now if we can. And I'm trying to remember if we've actually spoken to him yet this season. I think we have, but let's bring in Corey Saccone. Took the win for SRT Esport in GT3 AM.
All right, we've got here your AM winner tonight, Corey Saccone. Corey, you almost won the whole GT3 race tonight. Awesome run. You look so fast. Tell me a bit about how well that McLaren was handling for you tonight.
Honestly, it was handling really well. It didn't really start falling apart until probably towards the end of my stints. I was starting to, with the lighter fuel load, starting to push a little harder. I started burning up my tires, and that's kind of why I think I pit like a lap or two early and took tires, because I saw the guy behind me was gaining on me quite a bit, and yeah.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't the right move, but it ended up working out for me at the end. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, then you and the other McLaren, Brian Bennett, ended up being in your own little battle, and I'm here looking at this saying neither one of you needed that fight, but it certainly was fun to watch. Were you thinking that you could let him go, or I'm not sure if he thought it the same, he could let you go, because you guys were going to earn the same points either way, but the fight looked like fun.
I mean, honestly, that's what I was doing there. I knew it didn't mean anything, and I wasn't going to try anything stupid with him. I was just trying to have some fun.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if anything were to happen, I was just going to give it back and let him go. But, I was kind of on my own there, so I figured, let's have some fun these couple laps.
It looked like an absolute blast, as you guys even maybe had a little bit of touch contact here and there, but pretty equal cars, equal fight. Looked like a really good one. And honestly, it shows how your pace is right there with the best that we've got in GT3 Pro. And it shows now with, I think we said you've got 5 wins in 6 rounds this season. It's been dominant. You've been qualifying well. You've been racing well. Do you feel dominant? Do you still feel like there's an opportunity to continue to grow and to achieve higher goals?
I definitely need to work on my overall pace. I tend to fall off on the latter half of the stint, and I think that's where my biggest struggles are. I mean, clearly, qualifying, I can't keep up with the top guys, but I could get there. I just I need the practice, maybe a coaching here or there, but I've definitely, entering this league, I've definitely grown a lot quicker than I expected to, given that I took like a whole year off of racing and kind of just jumped right into this.
Yeah. Well, it's been a successful season so far. Obviously, a couple more rounds to go, but chalking up another win here tonight for you. But I know you've got a big team and probably lots of friends and family at home watching. Maybe you want to give a shout out to them?
Oh yeah, shout out to the guys at work. I told them about this a couple weeks ago from the last race, and I think a few of them are watching, so shout out to them. They're a good group of guys, fun to work with, and haven't seen them in quite a few days, and finally get to see them tomorrow, so looking forward to hanging out with them.
Yeah, well, awesome job here tonight, getting yet another win here in that McLaren for SRT Esports. Your winner in GT3 AM is Corey Sarcone. Congrats.
And thank you, guys.
Congratulations there, Corey. And Larry, let's take a look at the point standings in GT3 AM, where Corey, of course, with win number 5 on the season, cements his lead. He now has a 30-point advantage over Dan Carrizo from WBM Racing. James Vogler, who finished second tonight, closes the gap down, though. Only 9 points separate he and the WBM Racing driver. Josh Vidal, fourth in the championship. 13 points back from there. And then Michael Klimovich from Slow Bros, currently fifth in the championship. All right, let's move over now to our final guest of the evening, taking the win in GT3 Pro from the Wrong Stuff, driving the number 83 Aston Martin, Michael Brooks.
All right, Michael Brooks, your winner in GT3 Pro. And Michael, this is your third win in a row, fourth on the season. Starting to look like a bit of a dominating run. Did it feel that way tonight? Because you had a lot of battles to fight through to get there.
Not really. Not one of my best nights. There was a lot of incidents around, and obviously the contact with Bass. That's not how I wanted it to turn out. But I mean, it's a win. But yeah, it's just not how I wanted it to go for the championship.
Yeah, that was a bit of a tough one. You guys were in a really tough fight there. Different strengths and weaknesses of various cars and drivers, and it seemed like you had some of the advantages, and he had the track position, and just fighting it out there. There was that contact. Stewards didn't make a ruling. They must have seen it was close enough. And then I think later there was contact with Taj Edwards. It looked like you gave those spots back. Is that how that kind of went?
Yeah. I mean, with Taj, he just broke a little early for turn 1, bumped the back of his car. He held it together, lost a position, and yeah, it was only right for me to kind of succeed that and give it right back to him. But yeah, with the contact with Bass, we were both sending it up in the hairpin. That's really one of the only spots that you can get a good run in a pass, unless you get a great run out of the final corner onto turn 1. So yeah, I thought I gave him the space. We'll see what it looks like after race stewards take it.
Yeah, it's an interesting night, but good battles all around. But then once things cleared up, you definitely had pace that no one else seemed to be able to touch. So it was good for you to be able to put on that, but also seeing your teammates back there doing pretty well, of course, with Jeff and Joey. You got to be proud of the whole team and the way they did things tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole team really came through. I think everybody finished in the top 10, Jeff, Joey, and Chase. So huge shout out to them. Looking forward to going back and seeing the broadcast and seeing what kind of battles they had.
Yeah, quite a bit actually, is right up until the very end, of course. But for you, getting another victory here, like I said, fourth on the season, definitely a big one. Maybe not your proudest moment, but definitely some good bits in there to be proud of. I don't know if you got any other shout outs you want to give while you got the chance.
Yeah, first and foremost, shout out to my mom and dad, always tuning into the broadcast, cheering me on. Anna, she's always my number one fan. And then, obviously the rest of the Wrong Stuff team, Jeff, Joey, Chase, everybody's doing some great racing. And then, obviously, thank you guys. Always putting on the greatest broadcast, guys. So I appreciate it.
Appreciate the nice words. But tonight, it's another victory for you here from the Wrong Stuff, getting the win in GT3 Pro. It's Michael Brooks. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right. Congratulations tonight there, Mr. Brooks. And Larry, let's take a look at the point standings now. After 6 rounds in GT3 Pro, Michael Brooks extends his lead now to 23 points over the rest of the field. His teammate, Joey Rutledge, who came into tonight 4th in the championship, now 2nd in the championship. Ilya Speaker from Rockefeller Racing was 5th in the championship before tonight. He is now 3rd in the championship, only 2 points back from Rutledge. Another 3 points back from there is Ethan Bass, who falls from 3rd in the championship now to 4th. And then behind him, it is another Wrong Stuff racer. It is Jeff Brooks, who is now 5th in the championship, 31 points behind Michael. All right, so that's going to wrap things up for tonight's race. Let's take a look at what we've got coming up on the schedule. We've talked about a couple of these rounds already. Next Monday night, April 6th at 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time, it is the Touring Car Cup, round number 2 of the 26th season. Our TCR and GR86 racers will take to Alton Park, the non-chicane version. And again, if you want to join them on track, you can head over to xmsracing.com/TCC shop. It's not too late to join up, only one round down. In 2 weeks, the World Challenge heads to Long Beach for another, not 70, but 75-minute race, again, for our GT3 and GTP racers. And then in 3 weeks, Monday night, April 20th, the Touring Car Cup heads to Heaven on Earth, Virginia International Raceway. So for Larry Lefty McLeod, for Jonathan Grabowski, I'm Greg Ginsburg. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next Monday night from the UK. Have a great week, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.